Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Modern Mining. Well, today I'm gonna finally sell a couple of my GPUs. Don't worry, I'm not selling all of them. I still am gonna hold on to, at a minimum, 24 GPUs to see if GPU mining ever comes back. I wanna be able to turn a switch and basically have a lot of GPUs going. But the more I think about it, I don't need 38 GPUs just sitting down here not running. That's just kind of wasteful. These are depreciating by the day. I might as well sell a few of them and maybe buy more profitable miners, or just even invest that money to get some sort of return on it instead of having static money just sitting around. That's kind of my business mindset thinking. I always like to have my money kind of working for me, and right now these GPUs aren't working for me, though we probably are going to turn one of these rigs on in the coming days. But regardless, first thing we need to do is I have these two 3060 Ti GPUs that came off the rig that was up top here. We're gonna clean these up today. I'm gonna show you guys kind of how I clean them, how I list them, am I putting them on eBay, Facebook, who I'm selling to, and how I do it to make sure that I don't end up getting scammed. Because that's always the biggest thing with moving mining hardware, ASICs, GPUs, is that there's a lot of scams out there, and I want to try to help protect you guys, especially if you're selling off any of your hardware or even if you're buying some of your hardware. I'm also going to show you guys kind of what price to list your cards at to make sure you're getting good deals. So after a quick word from our sponsor, ViaBTC, let's get into it. Hey guys, quick interruption to talk about today's sponsor, ViaBTC. If you're mining Bitcoin or Litecoin, you're not going to want to miss this. ViaBTC offers a few different ways to boost your mining rewards compared to other pools. First off, ViaBTC offers merged mining. This allows you to mine multiple cryptos at the same time. For example, when mining Litecoin, you will automatically be mining Dogecoin, Bells, Pepe, Junkcoin, and Lucky Coin at the same time. Merge mining is also available on Bitcoin. The second way to earn extra income with ViaBTC is pool referrals. Refer anyone and you can get 10 to 20% of their mining fees. ViaBTC also has an insanely competitive 2-hour payout schedule. So if you aren't already, definitely check out ViaBTC and see if you can increase your mining rewards today. I'll leave a link down below, and let's get back to the video. So here are these GPUs. They are matching, so maybe I can somehow work out to sell these to one seller. One thing that I noticed right away is that these little plastic things have not been peeled off. So I was gonna say I won't bother peeling them off if it's not obvious, just so I don't cause any fan damage. But it looks like a few of them are obvious, so I probably will just go ahead and peel these off. That's how you know GPUs were made for mining, is if somebody just never took the time to originally pull these off. That's always pretty funny. So let's check these things in terms of dust. Honestly, not dusty at all. So that is really the main thing I'm doing when I'm cleaning these cards, is I'm making sure that the heat fins are not just caked up with dust. And in this case, you can see through them pretty easily. So that's good. There's also not really any thermal pad like oil on the card, which is kind of a clear sign that the card has maybe been abused over its lifetime, or used like a lot if the thermal pads are leaking their oil kind of onto the back plate. But overall, these both look really good. So let's blow out any residual dust, and then we'll go ahead and take some pictures of them, and then we'll get into the listing process. So normally when I'm blowing off GPUs, I'll turn on my exhaust fan back there and do it pretty close to the fan, so most of that dust is just getting sucked out of the garage, so I'm not like inhaling it. But with these cards being so clean, I don't imagine a lot of dust is going to come out of them, and it's just a lot easier to sit here and do it where I've got my little blower plugged in over here. Makes it super easy to do. If you don't have one of these guys, this is one of my kind of favorite essential crypto tools that I tell people to get. Doesn't matter what brand, though I will leave this one down below. Just an electronic duster. So this is just going to blow air and dust stuff off, so you're not having to use canned air all the time. Mine, I've actually got a little duct tape kind of fine point tip on there, but sometimes I think that probably actually makes this a little worse than it normally would be. One thing you want to do on these is just make sure you're always cleaning the intake here, and mine is actually kind of dirty. Otherwise, the motor is fighting like very hard to get the air through it. But let's go ahead, let's blow these out and see if we can get a bunch of this dust on camera, or if it doesn't look too bad. Now, one thing I will say is I normally kind of hold these fans so that they're not going 10,000 miles an hour when I'm blowing these out, because I would hate to damage the motor after I've tested the card and then listed it and then the customer get it and it not work. That's not what I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold this as I'm blowing it out. I'll go at different angles too. So, I mean, I didn't really see any dust come out of that. Maybe you guys did. It looks like one thing I noticed is it would be helpful to just take a wet rag and wipe off some of this dust on here. So let's do that after we blow out this one. All right, so I've just got some Clorox wipes. It's really all you need. And you can see that's gonna make a huge difference on getting off just the residual dust from these sitting on that GPU shelf. So I'm gonna just lightly do that on all sides, and that will make this look a lot better for kind of minimal effort, because if you've got a lot of GPUs, you certainly don't wanna be spending a ton of time doing this. You wanna just list these quick and get on to doing something else. Now, I'm only doing a few here, so certainly doesn't hurt to just wipe down every side. And just like that, it's a lot shinier. We'll let that dry, and then we'll be ready to take pictures. Hard to see, but definitely had a good amount of dirt on there. Now, when I start taking pictures of these, I'm just gonna have it in a nice clean background. You definitely don't want it to be like a blurry, kind of junky photo. The cleaner, the better. I feel like people see a clean picture, they assume you took good care of the GPU. One thing to note is that I will definitely never show any sort of like crypto mining stuff in the background of a picture where I'm trying to sell a GPU. I'm sure you all know there's generally people just don't like buying GPUs from crypto miners, even though we tend to treat them much better than your average gamer or your average GPU user. I'll normally get just one picture of the front, top, side. I don't have the box for these cards, but I would normally place the GPU on top of the box so that it's obviously clear that I have the box. So I'm probably gonna list those two cards around $250. We're gonna hop on the computer shortly and check out my site GPU Deals and just see what the cheapest 3060 Ti you can buy is, and then we'll kind of base it off that. But I think $250 will probably be a fair price. Now, one other thing I'm gonna do is grab one of my 3070 For the Win 3 GPUs. Those are the ones with the crazy RGB, the EVGA, basically Supreme model. And I'm gonna take one of those off and get pictures of it too, because those are basically my nicest cards that I still have, my nicest model 3070s. And as you guys know, basically the model of GPU does not really matter when crypto mining. Obviously, like a 1-fan card is gonna be worse than a 3-fan card. But in terms of hash rate, that really doesn't matter. And so when I'm kind of prioritizing which GPUs to sell, I might as well sell the ones that I can get the most money from, but keep the most hash rate still in my mining farm. So with that, that would mean that my 3070 For the Win 3 GPUs would be the ones that I should sell first. So what I'm gonna try to do is take one picture of one of these. I think I have 10 of these GPUs. List one for maybe $300, and then just leave that listing up, and over the months maybe I'll sell a few here and there for a great price, and at that point it was worth it, because sometimes I can get 3060 Ti's and 3070s for as low as $200. So that's one thing I'm gonna do too. Let's go ahead and list these GPUs. Well, I lied. I said I was gonna clean those off camera, but they were just too dusty. I had to get them on camera. These have the little sticky guys on the fans as well. These cards are definitely in a little bit worse shape than those 3060 Ti's. I've had these for many more months than I had the other ones. All right, guys, now that we've got our GPUs imaged and basically prepped to sell, now we need to actually list them. So this is where there's a couple different things you can do. You've obviously got eBay, or in my opinion, the better option is Facebook Marketplace. The main reason I don't really mess with eBay too much, at least nowadays, is the fees are going to eat you alive. It's going to be at least 20% fees to sell your GPUs on eBay. And when we're talking crypto mining where margins are super low, you want to get every dollar you can from your hardware that you've already bought. So I'm going to list these only on Facebook Marketplace right now. And then if they don't sell, I'll probably lower the price gradually. And then if they don't sell after a long period of time, then I will list them on eBay, because it obviously widens your scope big time. And when you put them on eBay, they're basically going to sell within a week if you price them correctly. Now, the big thing about Facebook Marketplace, and we'll cover this shortly, is I'm not going to be shipping these to anybody. This is going to be local pickup, cash only. So we need to figure out what price we want to sell these for. Now, that's where my site, gpudeals.net, shameless plug here, is perfect for both buying and kind of judging what the fair price of GPUs is. So for 3060 Ti's, which is what I'm selling on the Gigabyte cards, this is saying $250 on eBay and $355 on Amazon. Let's just take a look at both of these. And meanwhile, the 3070 is saying $310 on eBay and $400 on Amazon. So for the 3060 Ti on Amazon, this is a renewed GPU, a P&Y for $355. I wouldn't buy this. That's very, very expensive, and we're certainly not going to be selling ours for that price. Now on eBay, this is a much more realistic price. This is another P&Y card for $250. And this is, you can see here, they've sold 65. So this is definitely a good kind of price for us. Now keep in mind, people who are buying this, like if we were to buy this, our price is not going to be $250. Let's actually see what it would be. So blocking out all the stuff so I don't dox myself, you can see it would actually be $265 if we were to buy this, and that's after tax with free shipping. So that means we could technically list these 3060 Ti's for $265, and especially considering they're 3-fan cards, which this is a P&Y 2-fan card that we're looking up here, I think that's probably where we're going to land, at least initially, and that gives us some room to either negotiate down with the buyer or drop the price a little bit if they don't sell. Now taking a look at the 3070, it's saying $309 on eBay here, and this is a good seller right here, 20,000 reviews, and a pretty good model as well. So that's basically the equivalent of a For the Win 3 card, the Strix model, so $310. But again, if we do buy it now, it's going to be $330. So maybe we list those For the Win 3 cards for $310 and see, I'll be happy with anything over $280. So even without going to those listings, we were super easily able to see here that $310 and $250 are definitely the absolute minimums we would want to list our cards for. And that's why I love this site so much, because let's just pretend like we were trying to figure this out manually and trying to figure out what the price of a 3060 Ti is. This is what I would normally do, is I would type it into here. I would switch it to buy it now. I would switch it to lowest price first, and then I would switch it to condition used. Let's let this load here. Condition used, and then it's going to start listing all these cards. And now my site is pulling the $250 listing, but you see here there is some other stuff in front of it, and basically my site is kind of filtering out the best sellers. So my site is only going to use sellers who have a good amount of feedback, which is why we're actually pulling this third option. With someone right here who only has 77 feedback, it's not necessarily going to be a scam. That's still a decent amount. But in this case, you would want to pay the extra $10 to make sure that you're getting a very good seller and not going to have to worry about it. And this 208 card is a China model, comes from Canada. You definitely wouldn't want to buy that one. So my site is always going to filter out the kind of junk listings and give you the lowest price option. So you want to make sure that you're using a real profile. If you make a brand new one that doesn't have a picture, people are just going to assume it's a scam and move on. So you want to have pictures, you want to have some kind of history on Facebook for people to actually buy your stuff. But then you go to just Marketplace, create listing, item, and then you're going to upload your images. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'll just name it Gigabyte RTX 3060 Ti. 270. I like to go a little high, like I mentioned, so we can negotiate the buyer down, or we can drop the price if it doesn't sell immediately. And I'm not in any rush to sell these, so I may as well kind of list it high and wait. Now, the category, you want to put it under video cards. That's definitely the best one. Condition, I'll probably put this one like new because it is very, very clean. But though the other one I'll probably put as used good. And then I'll just say great working condition, just pulled from previous system. 3060 Ti's are still great cards for 1080p and potentially 1440p gaming. And then I'll say local pickup at my area and cash only. So here are the pictures I ended up using. You can see I like to just get angles of every single side and have good high quality pictures. Now you want to also make sure that the first picture is a good one. So there it is, guys. I'll show you what the next card looks like, and then we will go ahead and list this. So just like that, guys, I have both my cards listed. I forgot to mention that I do only check the box for public meetup. I do not want to ship these. The main reason is because I don't want to deal with any sort of damage during shipping. I definitely don't want to do like a PayPal goods and services, because then the buyer has a lot of protection where they can just receive the package and say, oh, this doesn't work, and then PayPal is going to force you to give them their money back. Definitely don't want to do that. I just want to get cash for my GPUs, and I'm okay to wait a little bit to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of vlog style, just what I'm doing with my farm, selling a few GPUs. Stay tuned, because I am going to be turning on a rig soon to be doing some spec mining. So thanks as always for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and be sure to check out my site GPU Deals on the way out. Thanks for watching.